My sister made up a lie that she slept with my husband just to ruin my marriage, until I exposed her and watched her entire world collapse. I'm 30 years old and have been married to Jake, 34, for 8 beautiful years. We have 2 amazing kids, a 6-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. Life felt almost perfect, a warm home, a steady rhythm to our days, and a bond with my husband that I believed nothing could break. We had our regular family struggles, but overall, I was genuinely happy. My older sister Lily is also 34, and while we started life on similar paths, hers took a completely different turn. Lily has always struggled terribly in relationships. She's been single for long stretches, and there's a painful reason for it. As hard as it is to admit, Lily displays strong narcissistic and deeply unstable traits. She has a pattern of wrecking every relationship she enters, starting intense, becoming possessive, picking fights over nothing, and eventually driving the person away. I've watched it happen over and over. She falls hard and fast, then suffocates the guy with jealousy or drama until he leaves. Then she's left hurt and confused, wondering why no one stays. Unfortunately, a lot of that hurt gets directed at me. She'd show up at my house complaining that she couldn't find a man like Jake, and there was always this undercurrent of bitterness. She'd say things like, "Even you managed to lock down someone like him, why can't I?" I tried not to take it personally. I knew she was unhappy. I still loved her and kept hoping she'd finally meet someone who made her feel secure. 2 years ago, on our 6th wedding anniversary, we threw a big family barbecue at my parents' house. Everyone was there, the kids were running around with their cousins, music was playing. It was one of those rare, truly joyful days. Toward the end of the night, Lily asked to speak with me privately. I thought she just wanted to say happy anniversary. She started off sweetly, congratulating us, but then her expression changed completely. She looked me dead in the eye and said that right after Jake and I got married, he and she had a secret affair that lasted months. She claimed Jake had been texting her, saying he and I fought all the time, that he felt trapped, and that their messages turned emotional, then physical. She said she'd kept quiet all these years but couldn't pretend anymore. I laughed at first. I honestly thought it was a sick prank, but she was deadly serious. My stomach dropped. For a split second, my mind raced. Could this be real? Would my marriage end? What about the kids? Then I asked the obvious question, "Do you have any proof?" She hesitated and said, "I have plenty, but as my sister, you should just trust me." That's when it clicked. I've known Lily my whole life. I can read her like a book, and I knew instantly she was lying. When she realized I wasn't buying it, the tears started, big dramatic ones, and she launched into the "I can't believe you don't trust your own sister" speech. Minutes later, she was telling our parents the exact same story, screaming in the backyard that Jake had seduced her and then blackmailed her into silence. Jake was as stunned as I was. My parents, without asking us a single question, immediately believed Lily and turned on Jake, shouting at him in front of the entire family. My dad actually said, "How could you toy with my daughter's feelings like that?" I stood there in disbelief that my own parents cared more about Lily's fake, broken heart than about me, their other daughter, whose marriage had just been publicly blown up. That night, Jake and I went home and talked for hours. I trusted my husband completely, and Lily's history of pathological lying made her story impossible to believe. She once planted her own belongings around an ex's apartment just to test if he was cheating, then screamed at him when he failed her fake trap. This was just the biggest version of the same game. The next 2 years were hell. My parents refused to hear our side. Family gatherings became unbearable. Jake was treated like a predator. I was treated like I was delusional for standing by him. Lily soaked up all the sympathy, playing the wounded victim to perfection. Eventually, for our sanity and our children's well-being, we went low contact with my entire family. Then, out of nowhere, Lily announced her engagement on Facebook to a guy named Mark. Her caption was a long, tear-jerking post about how he'd come into her life during the most painful betrayal she'd ever experienced. Relatives who had shunned us rushed to congratulate her and throw shade at me in the comments. "So happy you escaped that toxic situation." I felt sick. This man had no idea he was engaged to a compulsive liar who had fabricated an affair to destroy her own sister's life. I considered warning him, but decided it wasn't my place. He'd find out eventually. A few weeks later, I started getting non-stop calls from an unknown number. One day, I finally answered, and it was Lily absolutely losing her mind, screaming every insult imaginable. When I managed to calm her down enough to ask what was wrong, she snarled, "How dare you act innocent after everything you did to me?" and hung up. Confused, I called the only relative still speaking to me, my Uncle Tom. He filled in the blanks. Mark had called off the engagement. He'd heard the family gossip about the affair with Jake and started digging because Lily's stories never added up. While looking for answers, he went through her phone and discovered she'd been actively cheating on him with someone from a dating app. When confronted, Lily panicked and confessed that the entire Jake story was a lie she'd made up years ago. Instead of fixing things, the double revelation, cheating plus the massive lie, ended the relationship instantly. Word spread like wildfire. The same relatives who had vilified Jake now realized they'd been played. My parents were mortified that they'd chosen a lie over their own daughter and son-in-law. Suddenly, everyone wanted back in our lives. My parents left daily voicemails crying about how much they missed the grandchildren. Aunts and cousins sent long apology texts. I got a message from Mark himself, apologizing for ever doubting us and thanking me for indirectly saving him from a lifetime of chaos. Lily, meanwhile, vanished from public view after trying and failing to spread new rumors that I was the cheater, that Jake had always wanted her, etc. No one believed her anymore. I felt a strange mix of vindication and sadness. Sadness for the sister I used to have, and for the mental health spiral she's clearly in, but also relief that the truth finally came out. For a long time, I kept my distance. The kids started asking why they never saw Grandma and Grandpa anymore, which broke my heart. But I couldn't expose them to people who had been so quick to believe we were capable of such betrayal. Eventually, after months of persistent reaching out from my parents and seeing genuine remorse, I agreed to let them visit, strictly for the kids' sake. The first visit was awkward, but the children's joy melted the ice faster than any conversation could. When the kids asked about Aunt Lily, we changed the subject. Later, I told my parents that if Lily ever wants a relationship with me again, step one is serious therapy, not an empty apology. Surprisingly, Jake and Mark have become friends. They hang out, vent about the shared experience of dating Lily, and it's actually been healing for both of them. Things will never be exactly like they were before Lily tried to burn my family down, but we're slowly rebuilding something new, with much stronger boundaries. My parents are proving they can respect those boundaries. The extended family has learned a hard lesson about believing accusations without evidence. And me, I've learned that protecting my husband and children sometimes means walking away from people I love, even blood. I still hope one day Lily gets the help she desperately needs, but until she does, my door stays closed to her chaos. I'm finally at peace knowing the truth won, and my little family came out stronger on the other side. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories, get more experiences.